Most riders do not regret buying a Harley, they regret buying the wrong one. In 2026, the market is unforgiving and mistakes cost more than they used to. Prices are strange, insurance is up, and some models that look great on paper become expensive to live with fast. Which Harleys still deliver pride and miles on a budget? And which ones should you think twice about before signing anything? Today, we are counting down 10 budget Harley-Davidson bikes that are actually worth buying in 2026. So your next ride is one you keep, not one you explain away. Watch till the end, because the number one pick is the one most buyers overlook, and it is the easiest way to avoid regret. Number 10. Harley-Davidson Street. Bob 114. Strip the shine away, and what remains is intent. That idea has always mattered more than badges, and it explains why so many seasoned riders keep circling back to a stripped Softail with real muscle. There is no pretense here, no touring fairing to hide behind, just a low silhouette and a motor that answers the throttle without apology. The Street Bob fits riders who learned on iron and never forgot what torque feels like rolling on from a stoplight. Ownership stays honest. Fewer electronics mean fewer distractions, and fewer distractions mean fewer surprises later. The riding position is upright enough for long afternoons, yet compact enough to feel connected in traffic. It carries itself lighter than the scale suggests, and the chassis responds predictably when the road turns rough or patched. Pride comes from riding, not polishing, and that mindset keeps costs in check. Resale strength is part of the appeal. Buyers recognize a straightforward machine that can be tailored without fighting factory excess. Bars, seat, and exhaust changes feel natural, not corrective. It suits riders who still wrench, or at least appreciate knowing they could. The sound is familiar, the pulse steady, and the experience reminds many why they chose American metal in the first place. Confidence matters more than flash as years add up. The Street Bob delivers confidence through balance and restraint, offering enough comfort to keep miles stacking while preserving the raw connection that defined earlier eras. It does not pretend to be everything. It focuses on doing the basics right and letting the rider finish the story. Measured output sits around 94 horsepower, from an engine sized at 1,868 cubic centimeters, delivering roughly 119 pound-feet of torque through a front and rear disc braking system with anti-lock braking system support, featuring a single front disc with a 4-piston caliper paired with a Showa dual bending valve front fork and a hidden rear monoshock with preload adjustment, carrying a wet weight of approximately 655 pounds, a seat height near 26.8 inches, and a starting price of $15,999. Different priorities surface as comfort begins to outweigh minimalism, and the following entry explores that shift without losing backbone. Number 9. Harley-Davidson Softail Standard. Sometimes value shows up wearing plain paint and quiet intentions. That idea matters to riders who learned long ago that real motorcycles are built from frames and engines, not badges and trim packages. The Standard exists for that exact reason, offering a foundation that refuses to tell the owner who they are supposed to be. There is no forced personality here, no stylized graphics, no factory story to defend at the coffee stop. What you get instead is a modern Softail chassis stripped back to essentials, letting the ride define the machine over time. Bars, seat, exhaust, and suspension choices feel like expressions rather than corrections, and that freedom carries real ownership value. Comfort arrives without gimmicks. The riding position stays neutral. The wheelbase tracks straight at speed, and the frame feels composed on imperfect pavement. Long days do not punish the spine, and short rides never feel overbuilt. Riders coming from older touring rigs often recognize the balance immediately, especially when maneuvering in tight spaces or rolling into a gravel lot. Maintenance reality is another quiet strength. Access remains straightforward, parts availability stays broad, and nothing about the layout demands dealership dependency. That practicality appeals to riders who still enjoy understanding their machines, even if wrenching days happen less often now. Pride comes from stewardship, not from showroom shine. Market behavior supports the choice. The Standard avoids the wild swings tied to styling trends, holding steadier value because it never chased them. Buyers see potential instead of excess, and sellers benefit from that restraint. It feels like a motorcycle meant to be kept, adjusted, and ridden into later chapters rather than flipped for novelty. Measured output sits around 65 horsepower from an engine sized at 1,746 cubic centimeters, delivering approximately 110 pound-feet of torque through a front and rear disc braking system with anti-lock braking system support. Paired with a Showa dual bending valve front fork and a hidden rear monoshock with adjustable preload, carrying a wet weight near 655 pounds, a seat height around 26.8 inches, and a starting price of $13,999. Different priorities soon surface. Before we go further, if this breakdown is helping you buy smarter, support the channel by liking the video, subscribing for future lists, and sharing your experience below. Number 8. Harley-Davidson Iron 8 83. Some motorcycles earn respect by staying simple, while the world complicates itself. That idea explains why so many riders keep defending a compact Sportster long after trends moved on. The Iron 8 83 never pretended to be fast or flashy, yet it delivered something harder to replace: approachability without embarrassment. Seat height welcomes tired knees and shorter inseams, making confidence immediate at stops. Weight stays manageable in parking lots and gravel shoulders, which matters more with age than spec sheets admit. The riding position is upright and relaxed, encouraging steady miles instead of aggressive posture. It feels familiar to anyone who rode older standards, before everything grew wider and heavier. Ownership costs remain predictable, insurance stays reasonable, parts are everywhere, and maintenance knowledge is deeply shared across decades of riders. That collective memory has value. When something goes wrong, answers exist, and fixes rarely require specialized tools. The motor has proven durable when serviced, and heat management remains tolerable for city riding. Critics often focus on what it lacks. That misses the point. The Iron 8 83 succeeds because it does not ask much from its rider. It invites casual rides, short commutes, and quiet backroad loops, where pace matters less than feel. Many owners keep one alongside larger touring rigs as a reminder of simpler riding days. Market behavior reflects that role. Values flattened instead of collapsing, and clean examples continue trading hands among experienced riders. It appeals to those who know exactly what they want and refuse to chase novelty. Pride comes from riding well, not owning the biggest machine available. Measured output reaches approximately 50 horsepower from an engine sized at 883 cubic centimeters, delivering roughly 54 pound-feet of torque through a front and rear disc braking system, with anti-lock braking system availability depending on market and model year, paired with a conventional front fork and twin rear shocks. Carrying a wet weight near 564 pounds, a seat height of roughly 25.7 inches, and an original starting price of $9,999. A different kind of controversy begins to surface beyond this point, as expectations collide with modern interpretations of what a Harley should be today forward. I also dropped the gear and accessories that make these budget Harleys actually livable in the description, same parts I'd buy before the first long ride. Number 7. Harley-Davidson Nightster 975. Tradition can be a heavy thing to carry, especially when expectations refuse to stay still. That tension defines the Nightster more than any badge ever could. It arrived wearing a familiar name, but carrying a very different heart, and that contrast unsettled riders who expected yesterday's answers in tomorrow's machine. Time has been kinder than first impressions. The riding experience feels tighter and more controlled than older Sportsters. Weight sits lower, steering responds quicker, and heat management improves noticeably during slow traffic or summer riding. For riders who still want a Harley feel without wrestling mass at low speeds, the balance makes sense. It feels built for modern roads, while still respecting the need for torque over theatrics. Comfort is better than critics admit. The seat supports longer rides than its profile suggests, and the riding position avoids the cramped posture common to compact cruisers. Suspension compliance favors real pavement, not showroom floors, and braking confidence arrives earlier than expected. Those qualities matter when reflexes slow, but expectations stay high. Ownership conversation shifts with familiarity. Reliability concerns fade as miles accumulate, and service intervals align with contemporary standards. Maintenance access improves compared to older designs, and the learning curve shortens once riders stop comparing it to air-cooled ancestors. The Nightster rewards open-minded evaluation rather than nostalgia-driven judgment. Market positioning creates opportunity. Initial hesitation kept prices realistic. And that restraint benefits riders focused on function over fashion. It attracts those willing to ride first and argue later, valuing performance delivery above heritage arguments. Pride comes from understanding why it works, not defending why it changed. Measured output reaches about 90 horsepower from an engine sized at 975 cubic centimeters, delivering approximately 70 pound-feet of torque through a front and rear disc braking system with anti-lock braking system support, paired with a Showa conventional front fork and a rear monoshock, carrying a wet weight near 481 pounds. A seat height around 27.1 inches, and a starting price of $13,499. A different expression of heritage waits ahead, proving familiarity still holds power when executed with restraint. Number 6. Harley-Davidson 48. Presence matters long before the engine turns. Some motorcycles command space simply by standing still, and that visual authority explains why this one refuses to disappear from American roads. Thick tires, a slammed stance, and unapologetic proportions speak directly to riders who believe motorcycles should look powerful even at rest. Low-speed confidence defines daily interaction. Feet reach pavement easily, balance stays predictable, and the bike never feels intimidating when easing through parking lots or fuel stops. For riders who value control more than corner speed, that accessibility builds trust. The riding position favors relaxed arms and a natural reach, keeping fatigue away during casual miles. Comfort arrives in smaller doses, yet it is honest comfort. The suspension does not pretend to be plush, but it communicates clearly, letting the rider read pavement instead of guessing. Short rides feel engaging, while longer stretches demand planned breaks. Many owners accept the trade willingly, treating the ride as a statement rather than a marathon. Ownership culture reinforces loyalty. Aftermarket support runs deep. Advice circulates freely, and maintenance routines are well understood. Insurance remains manageable, and mechanical simplicity keeps long-term costs predictable. That reliability, combined with unmistakable style, explains why clean examples continue attracting buyers years after release. Criticism usually targets practicality. Limited fuel range and firm suspension invite debate, yet those traits also preserve identity. The 48 was never designed to please everyone. It exists for riders who know exactly what they want and refuse to apologize for it. Pride comes from choosing character over convenience. Market performance reflects that clarity. Values hold steady because demand remains focused and informed. Buyers understand the compromise before signing paperwork, reducing regret later. It often serves as a second bike, complementing larger touring machines while offering a stripped-down counterpoint. Measured output reaches approximately 55 horsepower from an engine sized at 1,202 cubic centimeters, delivering roughly 70 pound-feet of torque through a front and rear disc braking system with anti-lock braking system support, paired with a conventional front fork and twin rear shocks, carrying a wet weight near 545 pounds. A seat height of approximately 26 inches, and an original starting price of $12,299. A more versatile approach emerges ahead, showing how balance can sometimes outlast attitude. Number 5. Harley-Davidson Sportster S. Respect has to be earned, not inherited. That truth hangs over modern muscle, especially when a familiar badge is bolted to unfamiliar engineering. The Sportster S forces that conversation immediately, asking riders to judge it by what it does instead of what it remembers. Power arrives differently here. Throttle response is immediate, almost impatient, revealing a machine built around acceleration rather than ceremony. The chassis feels tight and controlled, encouraging confidence at speed while remaining manageable in town. Heat management improves noticeably, and braking authority feels modern and reassuring during abrupt stops. Comfort surprises most skeptics. The seat supports more miles than its silhouette suggests, and the riding position avoids the knee fold common to compact cruisers. Suspension compliance favors real pavement over showroom polish, soaking broken asphalt without feeling vague. Riders accustomed to touring rigs may still want brakes, yet the experience never feels punishing. Ownership changes the conversation further. Service intervals align with contemporary expectations, and reliability has proven solid once early fears faded. The motor rewards regular riding, staying smooth and consistent when exercised. Pride comes from understanding the shift rather than resisting it, and many owners appreciate having something distinct parked beside older machines. Market perception lags reality. Traditionalists argued loudly at launch, and that hesitation softened demand. For buyers focused on function, that skepticism created opportunity. The Sportster S appeals to riders who value performance honesty over nostalgia theater, and who accept that heritage survives through evolution, not repetition. Older riders often discover that measured aggression paired with modern control delivers satisfaction, proving that strength and restraint can coexist without abandoning the values learned across decades of hard riding. Measured output reaches roughly 121 horsepower from an engine sized at 1,252 cubic centimeters, delivering approximately 94 pound-feet of torque through a dual front disc braking system with anti-lock braking system support, paired with an inverted front fork and a rear monoshock, carrying a wet weight near 502 pounds, a seat height of approximately 29.6 inches, and a starting price of $15,999. Balance takes a different form as comfort and tradition begin sharing equal ground. If you value straight talk about Harley ownership and buying without regret, subscribe to the channel. New videos break down what holds value, what ages poorly, and what still delivers miles, so you stay informed before making your next move. Number 4. Harley-Davidson Lowrider. Some motorcycles disappear under a rider, and that quiet competence is rare. The lowrider earns its place by doing exactly that, settling into motion without demanding attention or apology. It feels finished, balanced, and confident, traits that matter more with miles than marketing ever could. Riders coming from heavier touring machines often notice the relief immediately. Steering stays planted, weight distribution feels natural, and the chassis communicates without harshness. Long afternoons pass without soreness, and short hops never feel overbuilt. The riding position respects aging shoulders and knees while preserving a commanding view of the road. Heritage shows through restraint rather than decoration. Styling stays muscular but controlled, avoiding extremes that age poorly. Real steel, solid finishes, and purposeful geometry combine to create a motorcycle that feels intentional instead of trendy. Pride comes from riding well, not explaining design choices to strangers. Ownership logic strengthens the case. Maintenance intervals remain reasonable, parts availability stays strong, and mechanical layout avoids unnecessary complexity. That predictability matters to riders who value time riding more than time waiting on service bays. Insurance costs stay sensible, and long-term reliability records inspire confidence rather than debate. Market behavior reinforces the appeal. Demand remains steady because the bike satisfies a wide range of riders without chasing fads. It suits daily use, weekend travel, and relaxed highway miles equally well. Many owners keep them for years, adjusting details slowly rather than replacing the whole machine. The lowrider proves balance can feel powerful. It never shouts or disappears. Strength shows through composure, becoming freedom over distance, which explains why riders point buyers toward this shape. Measured output reaches approximately 94 horsepower, from an engine sized at 1,868 cubic centimeters, delivering roughly 119 pound-feet of torque through a front and rear disc braking system with anti-lock braking system support, paired with a Showa dual bending valve, front fork, and hidden dual rear shocks with adjustable preload, carrying a wet weight near 688 pounds, a seat height of about 26.8 inches, and a starting price of $18,199. Authority takes a different form once wind protection enters the conversation. Number 3. Harley-Davidson Road King. There is a certain authority that comes from riding without hiding. No fairing to disappear behind. No screen full of buttons demanding attention. Just wind, road, and a motorcycle built to cover distance the old way. That honesty is why the Road King still commands respect among riders who measure machines by miles, not menus. Long days define its purpose. The wheelbase settles the bike at speed, the chassis tracks straight through crosswinds, and the suspension absorbs expansion joints without drama. Riders who have crossed states recognize the rhythm immediately. Shoulders relax, legs find their place, and the bike carries weight like it was designed for it, because it was. Comfort is earned through proportion. The seat supports real hours, floorboards give room to move, and the riding position stays upright without feeling passive. Wind hits clean rather than turbulent, reducing fatigue over time. Many riders prefer adding their own windshield rather than accepting a fixed design, keeping control over how the bike meets the road. Ownership experience reinforces loyalty. Maintenance routines are familiar, parts availability is unmatched, and mechanical layouts remain approachable despite modern updates. Insurance costs align with its touring mission, and resale value stays stable because demand never disappears. Riders know what a road king is meant to do, and buyers understand exactly what they are getting. Culturally, it carries weight, bridging generations by linking older touring traditions with contemporary reliability. It looks right outside a diner or rolling into a distant town at dusk. The Road King proves simplicity can coexist with strength, never chasing trends, quietly carrying riders across real distances with dignity, intact always. Measured output sits around 94 horsepower from an engine sized at 1,868 cubic centimeters, delivering approximately 119 pound-feet of torque through a front and rear disc braking system with anti-lock braking system support, paired with a Showa dual bending valve front fork and dual rear shocks with preload adjustment, carrying a wet weight near 820 pounds. A seat height of approximately 27 inches, and a starting price of $23,999. Versatility soon enters the picture as touring comfort meets a lighter footprint. Number 2, Harley-Davidson Heritage Classic. Some motorcycles earn trust by feeling familiar the first time you roll away. That sense of recognition matters to riders who have logged serious miles and understand the difference between comfort and convenience. The Heritage Classic carries that familiarity forward, blending old touring sensibilities with a manageable footprint that never feels oversized. Wind protection arrives without isolation. The windshield softens the blast without trapping turbulence, and the riding position keeps the spine upright while allowing small adjustments throughout the day. Floorboards provide room to move, easing pressure points as hours pass. It feels ready for distance without demanding the commitment of a full dresser. Versatility defines ownership. Saddlebags swallow enough gear for real travel, yet the bike sheds weight easily when stripped back for local riding. That flexibility appeals to riders who refuse to own multiple machines for different moods. One motorcycle adapts instead of forcing compromise. Mechanical familiarity builds confidence. Maintenance access stays straightforward, and service intervals remain predictable. Parts availability runs deep, and the platform has proven resilient across years of production. Insurance costs stay reasonable, and resale strength reflects consistent demand among experienced buyers. Styling balances restraint and presence, with tasteful chrome and proportions that age well, looking right at a diner or sunrise highway. The Heritage Classic occupies a rare middle ground, offering touring comfort without excess, heritage without fragility, and modern reliability. Measured output reaches about 94 horsepower from an engine sized at 1,868 cubic centimeters, delivering roughly 119 pound-feet of torque through a front and rear disc braking system with anti-lock braking system support, paired with a Showa dual bending valve front fork, and dual rear shocks with preload adjustment, carrying a wet weight near 728 pounds, a seat height of approximately 26.3 inches, and a starting price of $22,999. Only one motorcycle remains that distills simplicity, balance, and long-term satisfaction into a single enduring form. Number 1. Harley-Davidson Softail Slim. Some motorcycles feel right before the clutch is even released. That instinctive certainty is rare, and it explains why this machine rises above the rest. It does not shout for attention or lean on novelty. Instead, it delivers balance, proportion, and feel in a way that reminds riders why they fell in love with riding in the first place. The riding experience centers on connection, The bars fall naturally to hand, the seat supports without forcing posture, and the chassis moves as one piece. Low-speed manners inspire confidence, while highway stretches unfold without fatigue. Weight stays manageable, and the bike responds cleanly to deliberate input, rather than demanding constant correction. Styling honors restraint. Narrow fenders, clean lines, and uncluttered surfaces echo earlier eras without copying them. Chrome is used with purpose. Paint choices age gracefully, and nothing feels excessive. It looks honest. Parked on gravel or asphalt, carrying dignity without trying to impress. Ownership, satisfaction builds quietly. Maintenance remains straightforward. Mechanical layout avoids unnecessary complexity, and parts availability stays reliable. Insurance costs stay reasonable, and resale strength reflects long-term desirability rather than seasonal hype. Riders tend to keep these machines, adjusting them slowly rather than replacing them entirely. Comfort grows with miles. As the seat height builds confidence, reach feels natural, and suspension favors real roads. The Softail Slim understands restraint, offering enough power, comfort, and heritage without excess, becoming the quiet benchmark riders. Measure others against everything. Measured output sits around 94 horsepower from an engine sized at 1,868 cubic centimeters, delivering approximately 119 pound-feet of torque through a front and rear disc braking system with anti-lock braking system support paired with a Showa dual bending valve front fork and hidden dual rear shocks with adjustable preload, carrying a wet weight near 670 pounds, a seat height of about 25.6 inches, and a starting price of $17,199. Sometimes, the best answer is the one that never needed explaining. By now, you can see the pattern. In 2026, smart Harley buying is not about chasing shine or brochures. It is about weight, comfort, resale, and how a bike feels after real miles. Some models reward experience, others punish assumptions. If this breakdown helped you think clearer, tap like so more riders see it, subscribe for straight talk lists like this, and drop your real-world experience in the comments. Which Harley treated you right, and which one taught you an expensive lesson? Let's keep this a rider-to-rider conversation.